we're checking in on the latest news about the zero-knowledge EVM race, zkEVMs. Yeah, it's a techie story out of the Ethereum Developer Conference in Denver happening this week, but I'm here to break it down for you. So, CoinDesk reporter Margot Nishkirk reports that ConsenSys, a top software firm working on the Ethereum blockchain, not to be confused with ConsenSys, CoinDesk's own fabulous conference happening in April, is rolling out a zero-knowledge Ethereum Virtual Machine, zkEVM, public testnet on March 28th. So what does this mean? The zero-knowledge, or ZK, is a type of technology that uses cryptography to help increase the speed of transactions and reduce gas fees on blockchains that have gas. So multiple companies are rushing to bring this innovation to the Ethereum ecosystem. And this is one of the year's hottest blockchain trends. Yes, zero knowledge. So ZK rollups are a scaling solution for Ethereum that takes data off-chain onto a layer 2 chain in a smart contract, wraps it up in a proof, and then shares a small piece of that proof data on the main network. A zkEVM is the system that's able to execute those zero-knowledge smart contracts and interpret the proof from a zero-knowledge proof. So you need the zkEVM to work the zero-knowledge proofs. So there are a bunch of companies and platforms that are racing to be the first to bring a zkEVM to market, including Polygon, which will go live with its mainnet beta zkEVM later this month. Scroll and Matter Labs also have announced they're coming out with ZK rollups, but they haven't set dates yet. So this testnet from ConsenSys is a positive development in the scaling of Ethereum, but like the others in the race, it's not live yet on mainnet and won't be until sometime near the end of the year. So, David, go ahead.
Yeah, this is one of those stories where we just lose the entire audience, but let's go for it. To clarify, Christy, there is, it sounded like you were making a distinction between layer 2s per se, which already exist, have their own tokens, Polygon, Optimism, well, debate Polygon. You know, the zkEVM being separate from that might be a little bit wonky to people. So currently, as they operate, when you have these roll-up based extensions or scaling solutions, whatever you want to call them, is it that they're now handling execution on Ethereum proper and rolling it back up, but once they have the zkEVM, it becomes more efficient? Would that be a fair characterization of what we're talking about here?
Yeah, you need a zkEVM that's able to sort of coordinate with Ethereum, and that's what puts it back on the main. The zkEVM is what is able to actually execute the smart contract, the zero knowledge smart contract in the first place.
I guess my question was, since they don't exist yet, what's doing it now?
Right.
How are they executing now?
Oh, well, they don't exist yet on Ethereum. They can't work with Ethereum just yet. This is something that was originally supposed to happen way in the future. Nobody expected it to be happening this early. If you talk to somebody this time, maybe even last year, people will be like, oh, yeah, ZK rollups are not going to happen for quite a while yet. But toward the end of last year, all of a sudden, all of these layer 2 platforms like Polygon, whatever, were like, oh no, we've actually got something that's going to work. We're rolling out, and it was big news in the fall, where all of these companies were like, no, we're going to have ZK rollups. We're going to have a zkEVM that's going to be able to execute these ZK rollups a lot sooner than we originally thought. So ConsenSys is now the latest one in the race to be like, nope, we've got something that's going to be a testnet by the end of the month and then operational by the end of the year. So yeah, it's something that was not supposed. I mean, we were waiting for the merge to happen before any of these rollups and other scaling solutions could happen. Now we've had the merge. All of these things are sort of wide open and ready to go, and starting to actually, get some traction. Yeah.
And is there a specific payoff? Oh, sorry, Ben, go ahead.
I'm just wondering, Christy, who do we think is going to be using this technology? And do you think it could be scaling in the sense of bringing new users onto Ethereum?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure like who's going to be using it. Basically, developers, wallets, anything that involves really anything that's being built on Ethereum is going to be able to use this. What you have to think of with a roll up with these sorts of privacy solutions is the data itself is being wrapped up, and then only a small piece of that data goes back onto the main chain. So that's where the scaling part of it comes into it. The zero knowledge part of it is you only need that little bit of knowledge in order to verify that nothing in that smart contract has actually changed or been altered. And you only need just that tiny little bit of knowledge in order to make that happen. So anything that is going to be data heavy is going to want these. Anything privacy oriented is going to want these. So those are the kinds of applications for it. So think of it more like as a larger application process that will eventually get baked into what anybody building on Ethereum is going to be able to take advantage of.
Right.
David, do you have another question?
Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, but on net over time, the more layer twos there are, you get cheaper fees on the layer two, but then you also theoretically open up bandwidth on Ethereum itself. So the general fee level should go down in theory, right?
In theory. I mean, it's kind of, if you think of it the same, I don't like to draw too many parallels because it's not a perfect comparison, but it's layer two. So it's like you'd have with the Bitcoin Lightning Network. The more transactions you have off of the main chain, the more things that happen on the Lightning Network, the fewer transactions there are that have to be recorded because it's just a finality that goes onto the main chain. So less data has to be stored on the main network. And when you have fewer transactions competing for block space, fees are going to go down.